天本无事，公益只服从于胜利。守护灵力，蠢蠢欲动发力，人各有命，天注定的力量足够碎了这天地。前锋10点，压落后战了，守护灵老子还有6，守护着千万的亡灵的诺言，誓死不忘。狭路相逢，纵有千军万马，怎敌他大雁裂空锤？
这是傲神曲，净化亡魂，召唤我的守护灵，解锁封印。要是那些来自黑暗的势力，傲视群雄，看看我的智慧，让我更坚强。千年太平，怎奈恶灵环伺，小小打破安宁。睁开锁心链，解修罗破除致命，撕开谜的边界，看我踏入地狱，拉回迷途的灵魂。
大的线上，武神区的觉醒，让我化身修罗，穿上铠甲，决斗暗影。看10点阎罗，把封印统统解锁。命运只是那些弱者自己给自己的枷锁。
居住点位下后，双手守护灵力觉醒，上和虚幻战了，一路冲进战斗到底。聆听你明知战为一星辰的声音，被我走入地狱的灵发出的指引。
一方定浪，色眼翻云，结尾守护正义。
你黑白就此而不悔，将天良善虚伪，世界臣服于我。我已照亮世界。无神去把梦唤醒。无神去终于觉醒，真的所有险阻，抓靠它来驱散所有迷雾。无神去永不停住，不空困苦，向前不顾守护，心中所属无到不顾。
Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today, I want to talk a little bit about China. Those of you who know me know that generally I've been posting a wide variety of subjects, primarily things that have to do with my background in Majestic and the creation of souls and how the souls and consciousness all fit together, as well as my experience with our benefactors, who you guys know, the little green men and all that kind of stuff. So that's something I normally post about, and that's on Patreon because I've got a huge following for that stuff. But this is about China, and those of you who know me also know that me, as well as other Majestic operatives, we all moved to China. That's where Domain had relocated back in the 1990s. They relocated out of the United States and China. Also, all of us operatives, we've been in China now. And the United States is pretty batshit crazy right now. If you don't know that, let's try to turn off this video and leave. It's pretty batshit crazy. But that being said, I live in China, and I write about my experiences and things. And since it's generally in a positive light, YouTube and other organizations suppress it, shadow ban, do all kinds of algorithm manipulations, if not completely get rid of some of my videos. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about China. I cannot get on social media without being bombarded by bullshit. Today, on YouTube, there's a video where they're talking to this guy who says China is going to collapse any day now. Now, he's been saying so for the last 4 fucking decades and it still hasn't collapsed. But if you look at this guy, he's an expert. I wonder, how do you become an expert? He's never been to China, doesn't know what a fucking QR is, never heard of a hukou, doesn't know what a kodzu is. So what the fuck is he as an expert, and why are they giving him the time of day? I'll tell you why. It's because he is amplifying a narrative that serves American interests. How does it serve American interests? Well, people, the reason why it serves American interests is because it's broadcast in English and directed to Americans. It's not to inform. It's to frighten Americans. Or make them feel good about themselves. You pay attention to the narratives about China, you'll have this impression that it's a dark and gloomy place. People are pining away under an authoritative regime and all kinds of nonsense like that. In reality, it's nothing like that, but I can talk until I'm blue in my face. Make myself blue in my face. And nobody's going to listen, all right? I can tell you all kinds of stuff. You're not going to listen. You don't want to hear that stuff.
当仰望天空，看到了自己。无所畏惧的信念，炙热的力量，受过的伤，惊艳了山川，那道光，多热烈，多坚决的鲜血。 请让我像个勇士一样冲向胜利最高点，不用在意我的生命灿烂或平凡，我的身体里会有一种热血天然。请让我像个勇士一样冲向胜利最高点，勇敢的心从来不要复杂的誓言，阳光下的自由光芒会照亮我的心。沉淀的青春告别了从前，烈火中破茧，唤醒了我。征途多遥远，无畏的脸，那天的少年，那双眼，某一天若召唤那闪电，请让我像个勇士一样，哪怕一去不复还，只有磨练可以创造不朽的尊严。我的身体里会有一种热血天然，就让我像个勇士一样，哪怕一去不复还，勇敢的心生来就带着火焰，你的呼喊填满炙热的心。像个勇士一样冲向胜利最高点，不用在意我的生命灿烂或平凡，我的身体里会有一种热血天然。请让我像个勇士一样冲向胜利最高点，勇敢的心从来不要复杂的誓言，阳光下的自由光芒会照亮我的心。请让我像个勇士一样，哪怕一去不复还，只要磨练可以创造不朽的尊严。我的身体里会有一种热血天然，就让我像个勇士一样，哪怕一去不复还，勇敢的心上来就带着火焰，你的呼喊填满炙热的心。
I got that, then I switch over to Quora, and I go onto Quora, and here's this guy saying, well, it's obvious that China is going to invade Taiwan. You can't invade Taiwan. It's like the United States invading Tennessee, okay? What's the matter with these people? Are you that fucking stupid? I guess so. I posted a question on Quora. I says, why isn't the preamble to the Bill of Rights taught in American schools? Simple question, right? Guy writes back, I'm a teacher. There's no such thing as preamble of the Bill of Rights. It does not exist. Oh, God. Number one, I wrote back, I says, number one, you should be ashamed of yourself because you're a teacher. And number two, you should be ashamed you don't know how to Google it up, okay? And then I gave him the preamble of the Bill of Rights, so he's fine. The point is, and the point behind all this, is the United States is collapsing in coils. It is fucking going down. Titanic sunk slowly compared to what we're seeing right now. United States is fucking dying. Now, society has collapsed. You have carjackings in broad daylight, blatant store shoplifting. People just go in, grab stuff, and walk out. That happens when you have a breakdown in society. That's the definition of a breakdown in society. Now, the government still works in America. It still works, but society is broken, possibly terminal. And what's going on in America is President Biden is talking about declaring war on the opposition party. That's civil war kind of stuff, all right? I mean, that's how civil wars get started. Maybe that's why China doesn't nuke the United States and why Russia doesn't nuke the United States. They're just waiting for the whole fucking shit show to melt down. But I don't want to talk about America, though it's tangentially relevant to my discussion here on China. China, people, is really nice. There's no inflation. That's the first thing you need to know. No inflation. Zero. Why? According to American media, inflation is rampant around the world. No. The United States is not the world. Okay? So therefore, rampant inflation in America is in America, and it is in nations. Anybody who uses the US dollar will have the inflation associated with it. If you don't use the US dollar, you don't have the inflation. Duh. So any inflation that exists in China is tied to the yuan. Misuse of the yuan, paper printing of the yuan, spending the yuan on things that shouldn't be spent on. That causes the inflation. The second thing you have to realize is that China is the manufacturing powerhouse of the world. That's where all the factories go. Therefore, there's a lot of work. Therefore, people are busy, productive, happy. All right? In the heyday of America, when America was doing really well, that's when there were lots of jobs. That's why everybody left Europe and came to America. That's why people have been leaving Africa, coming to America. That's why people have been leaving South America, come to America, because there were jobs. Now, this image of Hollywood creating everybody drinking coffee and Starbucks and stuff is an illusion. You have to be employed to be productive, and you need to be productive in order to have a good family and life. If you don't have a purpose in life, you start getting into bad habits, one of which is addictions. So China is a manufacturing powerhouse, and it has an infrastructure supporting it. There's no other country like it. None. If you think you can move a factory over to Vietnam or Indonesia without infrastructure, go ahead, do it. I have tons of stories of people who tried, and they lost millions of dollars in the process. So you got a lot of people, they're happy, they're productive, they're working. But the third thing that I want to talk about China, and that is its high-tech city, guys. These cities. I mean, it's not just huge with all kinds of nice buildings and roads and rail and stuff, but it's high-tech, guys. Seriously, it's high-tech. The stuff that's exported out of China is not the cutting-edge stuff. You guys are getting B grade. A lot of times, say using the United States or Britain, for example, you can't import the stuff that China makes because you don't have regulations to control it yet. You guys are still fighting and dickering over 4G, for God's sakes. You renamed 4G 5G, and I say, see, we got 5G. The speeds are like, can't even run modern cell phones in the United States anymore because they can't work because the cell phones are based on higher speeds. You got robots, actual science fiction-y robots. You've got thermal scanning everywhere. It's cashless. It's been cashless now for a decade. Now, people say, yeah, but the United States have credit cards. Credit card is not cashless. Credit card is a system of using credit. Cashless is you go up there and you pay just as if you had a wallet. Cashless.
不要相信他们的表情，似漫不经心。不讲曾经我曾被拒绝多少次接近，拿走的东西都被否定，没能走进他们的内心，回荡至今挫败的声音，嘶吼不能让人倾听。我不敢相信还有人向我靠近，卸下防备的内心，被紧绷的神经。我听见声音，不想被他们看清，永远一再相信有光在慢慢靠近。For your dream。乌云间透着光彩，或者校园中也藏着伤，拿勇气又倔强，把挫折打败在我的顶上。烂剧本又怎样，也让你看见这世界真相里发出的光，会让他们都无法想象。义无的放下这曙光，飞向一定能到达方向。就它的弹药，它成为鼓励，让自己继续生长。时间 go on， 就像是这首歌就轮不到我一样，继续相信。For your dream, for your dream, for your dream。坚定内心对他们的认定，发出声音，灵魂清醒，被听到的声音才有资格走出星光剪影。方向会清晰，目光会坚定，用心念之力将所有踏平，让被否定的人都定睛，让他们直视自己，靠近真相才有机会能想法让自己热血滚烫，坚定方向才看清前方道路，也许并不一样，将黑暗照亮，星光燃上属于自己的光，下的夸张，这道路之上，他们的诋毁无法阻挡。
相信命运有奇迹，拉起留下的刺激，抹去被刺破荆棘的痕迹，带上过去的沉寂，像光亮重新奔起，在阳光下将自己再看清。
装模样不擅长也不揭穿是我的表象，不肯像他们一样，别妄想让我表演故作坚强，不假装练就上天生要强自带张扬，他们指手画脚让我亲手将道理放置高点上，话说尽想去抓住内心，摆脱命运创伤，迎风向不把理想剧本自己写一样，抓住光这些滚烫酝酿上美酒饮上，历经的风浪否定的目光都将被时光无情的掩上，擅长的方式写人生故事，那些不懂装懂的人也能够安稳度日，没看到结果但过程没有转身，目光投向双手寻找出口，踏平路往前走，想法被束缚的意念，把心放在云之间，多久会到那一天也不算再浪费时间，躲在角落里的危险不会因此为之松懈，擦拭伤口，放下执念，起身再次直面一往无前。
相信命运有奇迹，拉起留下的刺激，抹去被刺破荆棘的痕迹，带上过去的沉寂，像光亮重新奔起，在阳光下将自己再看清。
不要相信他们的表情，似漫不经心，不讲曾经我曾被拒绝多少次接近，拿出的东西都被否定，没能走进他们的内心，回荡至今挫败的声音，嘶吼不能让人倾听。命运有奇迹，奇迹就是我自己，抹去被刺有痕迹，有痕迹留下胜利，过去的成绩被光芒照着燃起，向未来重新奔起，在阳光下将自己再看清。
In China, and this is point 4, in China, it's believed that the purpose of the government is to serve the people, and since it serves the people, basics must be affordable. Housing. You can't have people, real estate investors, rising up the prices of housing and making it so that people live in tents in the streets. Housing has to be affordable. Food has to be affordable. You can't have somebody say, well, there's no bananas here, so I'm going to jack the price up. They get arrested in China. Well, it's their freedom. No, it's not their freedom. Wi-Fi is free everywhere. I went to the United States. I had to pay for Wi-Fi. I was like, you have to pay for this stuff? In China, everything dealing with government, services, everything is tied to the internet. So of course you have to have Wi-Fi if you need to get anything done. Duh. So it's free in all public areas. Now, you want Wi-Fi in your house, of course you have to pay for it. But it's inexpensive. Like food, it's considered a necessity. Same thing with transportation. taxis, high-speed train, ferries, and all this stuff is in modern buildings, state-of-the-art and well-maintained. China spends a lot of money in maintaining things and taking care of things, unlike the United States. They throw some money at something, say, it's done, goodbye, and then they just let it fall apart on its own. Not in China. Things are well-maintained. Now, modern China is not the China of 30 years ago. I'll see some responses by people who left China 40 years ago, 30 years ago, and they tell about what China was like, thinking it's still like that way. China has changed a lot. Changed a lot in the last 3 years. Substantial in the last 5 years. China is constantly changing. Every 6 months it's changing. So if you haven't been to China, you don't know jack shit, guys. Yeah, no shit. So, and you also have to understand, any news about China is distorted. So listen, I'm going to repeat this again. All news about China in the West is distorted. It's lies, manipulations, it's all distorted. I can use about the example about the Shanghai thing. You know, in China, everybody has an app, everybody is tracked, there's AI cameras everywhere, it's 100% surveillance. And so there was these videos going out showing rain pouring on beds in a quarantine center, and the workers wearing all the full garb and everything. Oh, I can't do anything, not my problem. Everybody in China was infuriated. What's going on? So they investigated it, and they found out, and that's one of the reasons why they changed the laws. You can't hide behind anonymity anymore. So they found out where all these videos came from. They came from Taiwan. They came from New York and from London. Somebody went to all the effort and constructed these fucking sets. Now you can tell there were sets because in China you have a QR code on every bed. So you could track electronically where that is. All the workers wearing those white garbs have their name on it. They put their name here and their role here. None of that was there. So when you look at these fake videos, one of the things you see is they were stripped of all identification. What really triggered the whole thing is it's supposed to be rain falling down because it's rain. during the time that video was supposed to occur, there was no rain in Shanghai. So that kind of tripped everybody off. But the point is, the video was not directed at Chinese people. The video was directed at the rest of the world to anger people against China. Just like the Uyghurs and all this other nonsense. If you're around genocide, 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 I'll bet you right now, I bet you a cup of coffee they had never been to Xinjiang. Don't even know what it's like. Wouldn't even be able to tell you the name of a fucking road there. They're just repeating garbage. Repeating garbage, people. I'm going to remind you about Y2K. You know how many people invested so much money in Y2K? Even my mother. She took money out of the bank and started buying gold for Y2K. She got herself some survival equipment and set up a pantry in the basement because she was afraid of Y2K. Just a bunch of bullshit, guys. Hey, how about Mad Cow? Remember Mad Cow? Eat a hamburger, you're going to lose your mind? Hey, what about Wendy's using worms, right? To make it nice and juicy, right? Don't eat at Wendy's, you don't want to eat worms. Yeah, these are all things that were in the American news. Okay? What about Ebola? Remember the dangers of Ebola? Your skin's going to start rotting and falling off. You're just going to be walking around with dangling skin and a bone there, right? Remember Ebola? Maybe some of you are young, you don't know this. Maybe you just forgot. Forgot. You're losing your contextual relevance, right? Everything that the American news, British news tells you is a fucking lie. It's a manipulation. If you're paying attention to it, you should be ashamed of yourself. I wanted to rant a little bit here. And the reason why I wanted to rant, I'm going to tell you the reason why I wanted to rant. I had an intro that I used on a lot, not all of them, but a lot of my videos on China. And suddenly I found all my videos on China were blocked. And the reasoning behind the blocking was because my intro video had a song that was copyright protected. Suddenly it's copyright protected. When I used the song, it wasn't copyright protected, but suddenly it was copyrighted protected. So I contacted, I said, well, let me talk to the guy who owns the song. Oh no, you can't do that. No, they didn't respond back. It's just copyright protected. You can't show these videos. So I just got rid of the intro segment. And that's what's going to happen. They try blocking me because there's a music in it or an image or whatever. I'll just cut that out because the message is still there. And the reason why I'm saying this right here is because if you live in a land where you cannot express your thoughts, talk about your thoughts, is a land that doesn't have freedom. I'm doing this in China, and I can do it without any problem. So have you ever watched The Golden Girls? There's an old television show back in the 1980s about four American show. It's about four older women called the Golden Girls. They lived together in Florida in a condo, and they just told raunchy jokes about each other. It's actually pretty funny. I really enjoyed it. And one of the girls is sort of like this old slut. You know, she's always talking about sex and everything. And then there was another old girl played by Betty White. I really like Betty White. You know, she passed on. She was just one hoot. And Betty White, you know, she played, in her role, she played this dippy kind of gal from this town in the far north known as St. Olaf. And she's just, you know, and she made a statement there talking about this girl, that's the older slut woman. She says, you know, been my experience that the people who talk a lot about how much sex they have really don't get any sex. But the ones that get a lot of sex, they don't talk about it. And that experience and that phrase just really hit home because it's so true. I don't want to talk too much about sex here. As you get older, you know, it becomes something different. For a man, this testosterone doesn't flow through your body. You're not, you know, such a goddamn animal having to have sex with your cock trying to drag you here and there. It becomes something different. But I don't want to talk too much about sex, but what I do want to talk about is projection. And that's what Betty White did. She was projecting. She was saying, you're talking so much about sex. My experience says you're projecting because my experience says you're not getting enough. And it's the same thing with the United States. They're projecting all the stuff about the United States on China. China is the enemy du jour, and I'm going to tell you why. America has been so mismanaged, that the rulers, the leadership, don't want to take credit. They want to deflect it because they are going to fucking burn. The rabble is going to fucking lynch them, and they have to distract or do something, and it's becoming really bad right now. And it's the oligarchy. So you're going to say, what they're doing is they're going to make it appear that they're trying to make it appear that China is an enemy that can be tackled because of America's superiority. People, Rand, the American War College, Stratford, de Gaulle, all of them have said America can't fight against China and win. At best, it's a painful suppression of the United States. That's the best thing. But you add in the rest of all the Chinese buddies, which is Russia and the global South. America doesn't have a fucking chance, guys.
To your ear, you feel that sound? That's revolution you hear. Welcome to the greatest battle of all time. Just officially been targeted by our own kind. The time has arrived, now it's sounding the alarm. Hands up, grab your loved one, get everybody armed. Prime all the triggers and try to remain calm as we gather all the weapons and prepare the bomb. Now we got it on lockdown, we're ready to go. And on the radio, send it out, let everybody know. The threat is getting closer, the sky's turning gray. It's right on the horizon, today is the day. It's within the city limits, falling fast like a mist. Now we're gonna win the mist, this is it, the apocalypse. Since the very beginning of mankind, in every generation, every era in time, there is always coming into what we must define.
reality now in this age. Silence becomes violence when it's mixed with rage. Tragedies and death, they say it's all a phase. Society lying to me, it's on the front page. Homicide, genocide, can't run the streets. If you're singing and you're bragging, it's cold, you keep heat. I understand your plan, be strong, not weak. My gut feeling is this killer's gonna make us obsolete. Let's defy, not rely on negativity. We gotta make over these communities. Analyze, capitalize opportunities. Speaking of change, ain't strange, it all starts with me and you. So what you gonna do? Close your eyes and cry till your life is through. You got work to do. We gonna start know how by saying these words right here, right now. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for. Our choice to make the wrong things right with our voice. We bring day to the night. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for. Our choice. We're the voice of the globe. Turn up the volume so everybody knows this is our world. Think one man don't make a difference, think again. Cause I just started an army picking up a pen. It's me, a global collaboration to take the whole world and make for one nation. This ain't no imitation, what you're hearing is elite. That's why everything stops when you hear us speak. Oh, back to the mission at hand, we gotta play. Take the message that we're sending and spread it across the land. It's in black and white, it's been written, been read. Now let every single syllable settle into your head. Story resonates from your mind to your feet. Believe the earthquake from stopping this beat. If you're hearing this right now, the battle's been won. It's spreading, my friend, the takeover has begun. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for, our choice. To make the wrong things right with our voice. We bring day to the night. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for, our choice. We're the voice of the globe. Turn up the volume so everybody knows. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for, our choice. To make the wrong things right with our voice. We bring day to the night. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for, our choice. We're the voice of the globe. Turn up the volume so everybody knows. This is our world, our streets, our war, our life. This is what we fight for, our choice. To make the wrong things right with our voice.
You don't want a war. Stop talking about a war. You should know by now that every move that America has made, China has effectively counteracted in so many ways. It's not being reported. Instead, you hear about an American sub ramming an undersea mountain. Surprise, surprise. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. I reported on what actually happened and all these other issues. You can't suppress China, people. You'll get suppressed. So here I am. I'm a ranting and I'm a raving. I'm a ranting and raving kind of guy right now. There's a shitload of things going on right now in this world, but I'm going to end this little narrative discussion on something that's really got to be made. You hear about ghost cities. That's just a name for China doing things in advance. I moved into a ghost city. It's filling up like you have no idea. All right? People made fun of China having high-speed trains. They're all over everybody. People say, we don't need it. We got cars. Yeah, whatever you want to believe. Yeah. The world's changing. Listen to me now. The world's changing. The old is going away, and that's being led by the United States, and it's kicking and screaming and putting up a hissy fit and everything, and the new is coming to power. That's Asia. That's everything from Turkey, Middle East, China, Russia. That's all of Asia, and it's coming to power. They're going to try to do it peacefully. But if it looks like the United States is going to do something very bad, then I can guarantee that America will be erased.
谁 眼中的光渐渐弱化，无法再挣扎。沙漠里那孤独的花，周围全是刺骨风沙。镜子里它能否回答？花会不会倒下？你看谁家人谁撕碎婚纱，背叛谁谁谁好了就有最甜蜜，只有最快。虚伪世界怎办？自谁输自己家，是谁谁欠他？谁说的什么假话？说过的爱都会忘记到退不水成无所谓，短暂交错结尾，自由自在优雅的落在悬崖。怎么放弃杀死颓废的自己，丧失力气，掉进无尽深渊里交叉，自卑任性，怎么才对？未走到哪里，只剩满地的荆棘。你看谁经历梦有泪，谁被穿越进化，许好爱就留在天马里的体会，虚伪世界是怎么？自谁说自己家不是谁谁是梦他？谁说的什么假话？说过的爱都会忘记到退不水成无所谓，短暂交错结尾，自由自在优雅落在悬崖。全世界都在释迦牟三山河在燃烧，能否想起从前样貌？总抓错谁的一脚，总踏入谁的圈套，重蹈覆辙都改不掉。
You people have no idea how big, how strong, how powerful China is right now. So if there's one thing I'm going to tell you right now, you have no idea what you're dealing with. So please pay attention, because if you fucking anger the dragon, if you poke the dragon, one of these days it is just going to fucking erase you. Have you ever seen a cat attack a mouse?
I already know you get it wet, girl, come over here. She gon' sit on the dick like a fucking chair. I ain't tryna be a man, girl, I'm fucking player. Top down, all these bitches on me 'cause I'm hot now. Top down. When I pop out, I'm a rock star, she gon' let me rock out. I'ma let her ride it. Baby, you too bad, I'ma take you to the island. Really, I be wildin'. She gon' do whatever, she gon' make sure that I'm smiling. Ooh, yeah. You so bad, 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 gotta do, yeah. Ooh, yeah. All these bitches in the club like, ooh, yeah. You so bad, bad. Baby girl got a Benz, he's a new jack. Got a mad, mad. Hit her from the back, she the best I ever had. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. I already know you get it wet, girl, come over here. She gon' sit on the shit like a fucking chair. I ain't tryna be a man, girl, a fucking player. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. I already know you get it wet, girl, come over here. She gon' sit on the shit like a fucking chair. I ain't tryna be a man, my eyes in a blind. She too bad, but she let me get behind her. When I'm in it, she said, baby, be kinder. She ain't never seen a real anaconda, sorta kinda. I'ma let her ride it. Baby, you too bad, I'ma take you to the island. Really, I be wildin'. She gon' do whatever, she gon' make sure that I'm smiling. Ooh, yeah. You so bad, 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 gotta do, yeah. Ooh, yeah. All these bitches in the club like, ooh, yeah. You so bad, bad. Baby girl got a Benz, be a man, got a fucking player.
Didn't want to mess with China. And with that, people, keep in mind the world's changing. Your window to the world is corrupted. The internet is your window to the world. It's now under control of just total lunatics. Western leadership's nuts. Now, I'm not going to badmouth. I said a couple things about YouTube. I said a couple things about Quora and this and that. It's not that the people itself are bad. It's that the systems that they are putting in place for good intentions are distorting what's actually going on, and that's dangerous.
我承诺在接下来的时间中，我将坚持到底，不管遇到任何困难，我将全力以赴，坚持到底，永不放弃，一直通过，一直通过，一直通过，通过。
谁说站在灯里的才算英雄？加油！
自由少年狂，生死山河听凄凉，敢将日月再丈量，今朝为我少年郎，敢问天地是锋芒，披荆斩棘谁能当？世人笑我自强，
每一次哭，又笑着奔跑，一边失去，一边在寻找明天你好。
Military? Oh, these are military workouts?
Okay, so I'm guessing it's the army, like the Chinese army, China army. Oh my god. Yeah. Seriously? Yeah.
盘点中国式军训，震惊世界。
That's really dangerous. So, with all this being said, there's those of you who know me know that there's nothing I'm saying here that's new or different or anything that should be shocking to anybody whatsoever. Shouldn't be. I want you to just be a good person. Make your grandmother proud. Be good to dogs, cats, somebody in need. Buy a cup of coffee for somebody. Buy a cup of coffee for a coworker. Do affirmation campaigns. Monitor your fate forecast. And really be cautious about whatever news you read. Because there is there's hundreds of billions of dollars going just to badmouth China. That money is going somewhere. and it's affecting how you see everything. Okay?
过分的感觉是，deze week toch ongeluk.
Het is te laat.
Jazeker. Zullen we een oudejaarslot kopen? Hallo?
Gaan jullie wel voor?
Now I'm going to say a couple words here. There are people out there that are gay or homosexual or confused because they have biological issues. We have to be more understanding and show understanding and compassion. I don't want to go, see, that's the problem with America. It's like you either have to entirely embrace transgender and LGBTQ and all this kind of stuff, or you're an evil person. That's not what I'm saying, and I don't want this kind of this binary way of thinking. Okay? We as a person have to be accepting of other people, other differences, other cultural variances, other societies. We have to be more accepting of others. Maybe I don't want a transgender something teaching my daughter, but that's my reality. And that in no way means that that person is wrong. It's just that it's not part of my reality. It's part of their reality. And in order for us, you and me and everybody else to be happy, we have to control our circle of reality, our little tiny piece of reality. My piece of reality is one where I get up in the morning, I eat some eggs and toast, I have a nice cup of coffee. That's my reality. I got a guy over here, his reality is he gets up, he has a bowl of fish rice porridge with mantou, and he drinks some dojang. Okay? There's some people, my younger sister, she gets up in the morning and she likes to have a tomato fish sandwich. We all have our different realities. His reality, my sister's reality, my reality is not your reality. But I don't tell them that you can't do it, they can't do it, they can't do it, and I'm not going to tell you that you can't do whatever you want. And with that in mind, it goes to nations as well. I can't tell America is doing wrong, even though I'm American. And I can't say China's doing wrong, even though I'm here. It's not our place. Our place is to accept things as they are and not as we want them to be. As you get older, you realize that.
我都截肢人质了，我他妈就要吃吗？你们都不给吗？
我跟你说，生下来就在这里，怀孕，我讲的可好了，满月时候，等不着就满月了。这一秒，我他妈就是个傻。
you're not allowed to go into the movie theater because you're smoking, that's the way it is. Don't fight it. Go elsewhere.
我以为忘了想念，而面对夕阳，希望你会到今天。我记得碰你的脸，在双手之间，安静地看你的眼。
That people, just be the best you can be good, accept other people, and remember, guys,
眼睛陷入黄尘，闻不到浓浓的花香，就像丢了灵魂，寂寞丛生。听不见大大马蹄声，世界一片沉静，不见归程。如果再不把我唤醒，又要等待来生天涯纵横。我要策马奔腾，向你怀中，解开思念的谜，千年的梦。穿越茫茫云海，蓝天一角，马琴响起，心事瞬间消融。我要策马奔腾，不尽苍穹，卷落一路风雨，腾起彩虹，漂泊在你心海，幸福依旧，清风一缕，前世今生相逢。后饮几杯马奶酒，难解千年的哀愁，再唱几首情歌，寂寞你才会懂。快乐洒满了山坡，是阳还是那云朵？从此不再放手，伸手茫茫的自由。望不见暖暖的阳光，你用万朵祥云为我装饰。闻不到咸咸的草香，苍茫岁月，荒草也很春风。听不见悠悠的长调，天地为谁辽阔，你为谁等？如果你肯与我相拥，总有万座山峰也要踏平。我要踏